On the final day of 2019, we say hello to ACC Conference basketball. On ACC Network tonight, presented by Geico, number 2 Duke welcomes Boston College to Cameron Indoor Stadium, and it's great to be with Jordan Cornette. West Durham Blue Devils have won 5 straight. BC's won 4 straight. Hadn't played in 10 days, though, for Jim Christian's team. And Duke just beat Brown the other day by 25. What's job one tonight for Mike Krzyzewski's team?
I mean, we like this Duke team. There's a lot to like, but we did not like how they started versus Brown. Coach K, most importantly, did not like how they started versus Brown. I got to see this Duke team come out with an edge. Right away, let the opponent know in Boston College they're the superior team. It's their home floor. They're ready to play.
Well, the Blue Devils welcome back Trey Jones tonight, the sophomore point guard, Apple Valley, Minnesota. And you see the comparatives from last year to this year. And, of course, missed the last 2 ball games with an injury to the left foot. And meanwhile, here's Boston College with a familiar face to Duke fans, and that's Derek Thornton.
Yeah, Derek Thornton's eager to show Duke what they no longer have. Played here as a freshman. Got to stay within the confines of your game, not try to change the world with each play. Your Boston College team needs you. You're the head of the snake. Got to play composed ball this evening.
Ron Groover with Jamie Luckey and Lee Cassell on the whistle. BC 8-5, 2-0 in the ACC at the top of the standings after an opening night win against Wake Forest at Conte Forum and a 1-point victory on December the 8th at Notre Dame. Derek Thornton leads the BC attack and scores on the drive. The Eagles' leading scorers. You get a look at Jim Christian's lineup that has a youth flavor to it with Jay Heath and also the freshman C.J. Felder. And Mike Krzyzewski, who's used 8 different starting lineups in his first 12 games, goes with one that's 2-0, and there's the drive by the freshman Stanley that bounces away. Recovered to Jones, and O'Connell a 3.
What you cannot do if you're Boston College, give this potent, explosive Duke offense added possessions on the backboard. A Boston College team that is -4 in the rebound margin has to meet the call there.
Thornton right back to the rack again. Stanley the rebound. Lead for the big rookie.
We've got the sample size in a few sequences. What Duke does very well, get on the glass and get out in the open floor in transition in pursuit of easy ones.
Vernon Carey's off to an outstanding start in his rookie campaign. Opening basket for the Blue Devils makes it 5-2 on the Carey dunk. There's Heath, the freshman from D.C., with the tough shot.
Heath, the freshman, has been asked to do a lot for this Boston College team, but he's a guy who can score it. Duke is vulnerable off the bounce if you play aggressively in attack mode at the rim.
Here's O'Connell. Clearly a catalyst at the scoring end. And Matthew Hurt has been an interesting prospect here early, too. 8 points the other day against Brown. Jones step in, 2 is short. Stephon Mitchell couldn't keep it alive for Boston College. It will belong to the Blue Devils. And we're almost 2 minutes old here. This is game 3 on this New Year's Eve. Florida State a winner at home. And, of course, Miami and Clemson. And it looks like Miami's going to get the road win at Littlejohn. And a full slate of games, 7 of them on the card for Saturday in ACC play. Stanley skips it to the corner. Jones wide open. Airballed it. Stephon Mitchell the rebound. And the lead for Thornton is thrown away by Mitchell. So Jones has had a couple looks, Jordan, after missing a couple ball games.
Out of rhythm, clearly. Yeah. Having missed those 2 games, this is a guy they tried to hold back for good reason, but he is clearly trying to feel his way back into game shape.
We welcome those of you who have just watched Miami beat Clemson in overtime with Jordan Cornette, West Durham. This is game 2 of our ACC Network college basketball doubleheader, presented tonight by Geico here at Cameron Indoor Stadium, where Duke has grabbed an early 1-point lead on Boston College. A 3 from O'Connell, a dunk from Vernon Carey. Offset a couple of field goals, one from Derek Thornton and 1 from Jay Heath. And Trey Jones back in the lineup tonight for Duke after missing the last 2 ball games, Jordan.
And recovering from that foot injury, this team taking great caution with their star, sitting him out. Probably could have played versus Brown, wanted to save him for an ACC opponent, setting the tone here. And that's what he does, sets the table for these Blue Devils.
Here is O'Connell rubbing off the carry screen. Well done by Jarius Hamilton, forces the turnover. Heath a triple at the other end. Well, you got to be careful now if you miss the transition jump shot against the Blue Devils, right?
Let him know, Wes, you better get back and be ready to defend because Duke is ready to run.
Here's Hurt, catch and shoot 3. Matthew Hurt from Rochester, Minnesota with his 16th triple of the year.
Duke becomes that much more dynamic when they got that shot going beyond the arc. With everything else they bring, the high-level athleticism, dangerous when they're hitting shots.
4 double figures of the last 6 for Hurt. Thornton another drive. And Jones and the Blue Devils into the front court. Stanley back for another Hurt 3. And the rebound Hamilton, and a foul whistled by Jamie Luckey off the baseline.
Great fight there from the sophomore 6'8" Jarius Hamilton to control the rebound and also draw a whistle. That is where Boston College is going to be challenged all evening long. Duke are monsters on the backboard. Boston College vulnerable there with a rebound margin of -4.4.
You see an early substitution. Vernon Carey Jr. out of the ball game, and Javin DeLaurier, the senior captain at 6'10", has checked in. DeLaurier averaging about 14 minutes a ball game for Coach K. Mitchell will feed the freshman C.J. Felder for the 2-hand flush. This Boston College team has not played since defeating Cal in San Francisco by 4 10 days ago. And what was their 4th straight win. All 4, by the way, have come without the veteran center Nick Popovich. And that ball got knocked out of bounds. But Boston College to within a basket, thanks in part to the 6'7" freshman from South Carolina, C.J. Felder. Timeout as we continue from Cameron. Well, 2-point lead for Duke, 8-6. ACC Network basketball presented tonight by Geico. Great to be with Jordan Cornette, our producer Alex Farmatino, our director Mike Sullivan as well. And our Geico player spotlight, let's spin it around on number 1 here, Jordan.
I mean, this guy is fun to watch. The efficiency, it speaks for itself, leading the conference in field goal percentage. He plays very hard before the catch. He's a walking 20-10 guy, and defensively gets after it as well. As he goes, this Duke team follows.
Wendell Moore has come in the lineup for Mike Krzyzewski, and so has Joey Baker for the Blue Devils. Julian Rishwain, a freshman from California, has entered BC's order for the first time. This is the freshman Rishwain from Sherman Oaks. Nice ball movement. Heath. That's Jared Hamilton, who backs it out now with 6 to shoot. He's looking for a screen. Lefty launch. And the rebound for Jones.
Better off with the first one, Wes. Too slow on the offering. Had to bring it back down and reset. Ended up taking one highly challenged, low percentage. Doesn't deliver.
Hurt working on Felder. Blocked by C.J. Felder.
When you talk about playing with an edge, as we did about this Duke team, Boston College has some guys that play with that edge.
Rishwain airballs the 3. 5 minutes gone this first half. Hurt reset on Mitchell and scores.
I like that. Got his thing thrown back in his face last sequence down. How about the resiliency? Demanding the basketball. A freshman, a poised scorer says, no, let me get that thing back.
5 for Hurt. And an offensive foul on Thornton as DeLaurier was helping. So Derek Thornton, his first, and the first on BC. And Mike Krzyzewski, now in season number 40 here in Durham. 5 NCAA titles, 12 Final Fours, bucket full of gold medals.
Keep going. I said, Coach, what's your resolution for the new year? He looked at me like I was out of my mind. He said, resolution? I don't have those. And if I did, why would I tell you? Who cares?
Baker on the drive. Derek Thornton has come up hobbling.
Oh, this is not what you want to see. This is not what you want to see at all. Young man having a chance to come back to a place where he played as a freshman. You know he had this circled on the schedule. Limping off lame right now. You hope it's just a cramp. You would hate to see this.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, man.
Whew. Caught up with it. Looked like Trey Jones there on the landing on that right ankle.
Yep. Nick Galato, the BC trainer.
Oh, you hate that.
Having a look at Thornton. Here is Stephon Mitchell. And the drive by Heath. And a foul on Delorier.
And for those wondering why my reaction is such, this is a guy in Derek Thornton who left early from high school. Coming in was the starting point guard for a Duke team. Played pretty well considering the circumstances. Ultimately left to go to Southern Cal. Played there for a few years as a grad transfer. Comes to Boston College, but was hyped to come back here and play Duke.
Sure.
Show him the player he's become and evolved into in this grad year. And you hope he finds a way to get it back on the court this evening.
Heath missed, and it was cleaned up by Jarius Hamilton. BC to within 4 at 12-8. Thornton is going to go back into the locker room area here at Cameron on the visitors' ledger. And Wendell Moore lost it on the drive. And that'll bring Vernon Carey and Jordan Goldwire, who's been a great spark for Mike Krzyzewski, onto the floor for the first time.
Are you used to talking about Duke like this? As many players as you've mentioned that have already checked into this game?
It is typical that you see it earlier in the year. It typically pares down, let's be honest. But later in the year?
I don't know, Wes. Me and you differ in this one. I think this Duke team is so balanced, and that's a positive.
Right.
They play 9-10 guys. Coach K historically likes to get that down to 7 or 8. I can't look at a guy on that roster right now that says there's no way he's not playing decent minutes come late February. I just think that's the state of this team, and it's not a bad thing.
Vernon Carey clears away the Rishwain miss. I think it is definitely different based on what we've seen in previous years. I think the other curious part about it is, Jordan, that it is a team.
That's a charge.
That's an offensive foul on White. That'll be his first. That's 3 on Duke, by the way.
Go ahead, talk to me, Wes.
I think the part about it is, you're right. They got a lot of guys that do a lot of things. They don't have the rock stars they had a year ago, right?
No.
Okay.
They're not a Zion coming through that door. They ain't one coming in college basketball for a long time.
Rishwain lost it on the inline out of bounds against Joey Baker. And Derek Thornton has come back to the bench and now will come back to the table.
Love that. Young man deserves this opportunity.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch Duke develop. I will say this, and I saw him here early in the year against Georgia State. And I'll tell you, the guy that caught my eye that night's the guy that's taken off, and that is Vernon Carey.
Yeah.
I think his presence and his success early is a huge differential in where Duke can go.
At the beginning of the year, I was more in love with Cassius Stanley and the way he developed. Now, that's a 20-year-old freshman, and he went out with injury. He's trying to find his rhythm again, having returned now for his 3rd game since that injury with the hamstring.
Moore's first basket, by the way.
It's a loaded team.
Yeah. It's an interesting basketball team, but it is, tell you one thing, is it's rocking old school defense now.
Boston College needs to figure out a way to take care of the basketball, not allow Duke more possessions and open floor opportunities like this.
Goldwire and Carey couldn't handle the bounce pass. And Jordan Goldwire frustrated he didn't give the big fella a better catch.
Yeah, I don't know how much more Goldwire could have really done there, to be honest. I mean, he bounced that thing, put it at the numbers. I think Vernon was thinking, da-da-da, da-da-da, before the catch.
4th turnover, by the way, on Duke here. First 7.5 minutes and a 6-point lead for the Blue Devils. The Hamilton brothers exchanged the pass. Here's Thornton. Little runner. Missed it and got the rebound. Last touch by Derek Thornton. So it will belong to the Blue Devils almost 8 minutes in. Tell you what, the way the ankle looked, Derek Thornton's a man of flexibility.
Yeah, a reason for optimism when you saw him walking off on his own accord.
Yeah.
That led me to believe I think he's got some minutes in him this evening. He'll be returning to the floor, and he is.
Can't leave Baker open. Missed there. Boy, Joey Baker 7 of 21 from the floor in the last 3 ball games. Had 22 here in the win against Wofford prior to the Christmas break. Luka Kraljevic feeds Thornton. And Carey the rebound of the miss.
3-point shot is huge for Boston College. They simply have to hit shots. If they want to win this game, they're probably going to have to do it in the 80s. That's the reality of it when you go against a high-powered offense like Duke's.
Here's Carey to catch. And fouled by Kraljevic. The junior from Slovenia at 6'11", his first. Free throws for Vernon Carey when we come back.
And here, Wes, is why Vernon Carey is so efficient. Because of the real estate he carves out, putting a position for the entry pass by showing his hands. It's a safe delivery from Trey Jones. When he delivers it, it's a seamless catch with momentum and a finish. Michigan State's interior defender, get in line. Everybody feels like that when you're playing one-on-one in isolation versus Carey, the freshman phenom.
By the way, the foul as we went to break on Luka Kraljevic has been charted as a flagrant 1. So the free throw and the basketball for Duke. Vernon Carey gets the 2 shots. Here's another look.
Again, there's that post position. Yeah, and it was
the grab of the shoulder.
Back behind. And not making a play on the basketball does warrant that flagrant 1. But again, seamlessly shows you back to live action. Seeing the replay, very recent live action of him making that position, carving out space, demanding the basketball. High percentage opportunities allow for a field goal percentage that is the best in conference.
Jones back to Carey with Mitchell and Thornton helping on a double. Wendell Moore, nice move. Second basket for the freshman from Charlotte. And Duke's got their largest lead of 9.
Patience. Taking what the defense and within the confines of your offense allows for you.
Mitchell, who's done a little bit of everything for these Eagles, especially in lieu of the Popovich injury. And that ball got deflected back to Stefan. Little fall away, left hand. No.
Carey got lucky, left his feet early on the first head fake. Want to see more discipline defensively. A guy who averages better than 2 blocks per game. You see why he is eager to go after those deflections.
Well, BC's gone closing in on 4 minutes without a basket.
They can't get anything from the 3-point line. Duke is hedging those screens, showing out hard, taking away anything from the 3-point line.
And a block going to be called here on Jarius Hamilton. It'll be his first. The 3rd on Boston College. And Vernon Carey. Ooh.
You take one more step of anticipation. I don't suggest it for the common man to step in front of Vernon Carey going downhill with momentum. But you know Carey wants to get to that dominant side. He wants to go left. If you anticipate that, Hamilton, one more step, that's a turnover going the other way.
Trey Jones left open off the baseline out of bounds. Duke got a couple of threes here early, one from Hurt and one from O'Connell. Haven't been able to buy one since as Jones off the turnover. Here's Goldwire.
This is a position where you're worried about Boston College coming into this matchup. Duke is a team that turns the opponent over. Boston College is relatively careless with the basketball, no other way to put it, with nearly 15 turnovers per game. That allows Duke to get out in the open floor where they thrive.
Strong drive. Heath couldn't finish it. Jones will bring it into the front court and all the way to the rack. And a foul on Carey going over the back. It'll be his first and 4 on Duke. Don't forget Saturday we'll move along Tobacco Road about 8 miles or so here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Georgia Tech, who lost today at Florida State, visits Carolina, who beat Yale last night. Our coverage starts at 6 o'clock. Roy Williams, who tied Dean Smith last night, will be looking to move past his mentor with 880 wins, trailing only Coach K, Jim Boeheim, and Bob Knight on the career wins list among Division I head coaches. Heady play by Mitchell to steal the Delorier pass. And the jumper from Jared Hamilton bounds away.
If you're Boston College, you got to capitalize off those kind of mistakes. That's a giveaway point blank from Delorier. You've got to make Duke pay if they open the door for you.
And a foul whistled before, and it will be on Feldon. First on Felder and 4 now on Boston College. And BC has gone 5 minutes without a bucket. 9-point lead for the Blue Devils. First half. 9-point lead for Duke. Boston College has gone 5 minutes without a bucket, Jordan.
Yeah, Thornton can't get anything going. He left with what we thought would be an ankle injury return, but hasn't found any driving lanes. They haven't been able to get any momentum off of him. Duke's done a fantastic job of running guys off the three-point line and taking highly contested twos. So unable to find any sort of rhythm have been the Eagles thus far.
There's a foul called on the inbounds against Stanley for the push. That'll be his second. Freshman from Los Angeles hands Duke their 5th team foul. And Boston College has taken Thornton out of the lineup, so Jay Heath, the freshman from D.C., will run the offense with Felder, Jared Hamilton, and Stephon Mitchell. And that's Felder, the freshman. And it got deflected off of Mitchell and recovered by the Blue Devils on another BC turnover. Stanley, oh, how about that? Quick step back before Jared Hamilton was able to draw the charge. Look at Stanley go to work and score. He oozes athleticism.
And he's great when he's got momentum and playing downhill in attack mode at the rim. He's not your typical freshman. It's because he's 20 years old.
Yeah.
More developed than most at that stage in their collegiate career.
Drive and basket for Jay Heath. Averaging 17 points in the 2 ACC games that Boston College has played is Heath. He's been double figures in all but 2 of Boston College's 13 games coming in. And there's a drive and basket for Matthew Hurt, who's got 7 here in the first half.
It's a tough move from Hurt. Tough move with the offhand, showing that he can do it in other ways, not just a jump shooter or a mid-range guy.
Delorier knocks it away with Mitchell chasing, and Stephon Mitchell does a good job fighting for it. Bounce pass, Felder the dunk on Delorier.
Felder at 6'7". Elevates over 6'10". Delorier, a rim protector, shot blocker.
Tell you what, C.J. Felder out of Sumter, South Carolina. One of the preseason publications said he has untapped explosiveness as Jones gets his first basket.
Here's what's tough for Boston College as opposed to a lot of other teams out there. You don't have a big who can get you buckets down low, who can slow a defense down by dumping it down to him, playing through him.
Right.
Boston College has to do everything off the perimeter with a very athletic perimeter defense from Duke, so there's no advantage to be had there or no stability to seek.
That'll be an offensive foul on Hamilton. His second, 5 on the Eagles here in this first half, but Cassius Stanley has already put you in the blender.
Hey, Wes, it's the new year. You got to get out on the dance floor, right? Cassius making him dance defensively. Then he says, I'm not going to give it to you there. I'm going to get it here. The bank is open this holiday season.
Well, on New Year's Eve, we welcome you to ACC Network College Basketball presented by Geico with Jordan Cornette, West Durham at Venerable Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Never too early to brush up on your guy Lombardo. All right, 11-point lead for Duke. The Blue Devils have been very workmanlike here in the first, 14 minutes of play or so.
Well, you know what's interesting, Wes, is talking to Coach K earlier today, he was putting a strong emphasis with his guys, as we were told, about communicating.
Yeah.
And coming out and playing with an edge. Communication, it came back to that with everything that he was talking about. And I asked about his offense. He said, you got to communicate. He's really beaten into the minds of his players. Communication makes you more attention to detail, more focused, and better off in every facet of the game. The edge that I wanted to see Duke start with, it's been omnipresent out of the gates.
Yeah, foul on Heath, by the way. His first, 6 now on Boston College. By the way, Duke has used 10 guys so far. 7 have scored. I'd say there's communication there. in some respect.
And it's a challenge. There's really two teams in the country that have the roster turnover like they do. That's Duke and Kentucky. So you're teaching a whole new group, young guys, fundamental principles of success with your program.
Baker on the drive. Second field goal for Joey Baker, who's about a 47% three-point shooter, but can also get to the rim.
It's big for Joey Baker. That's huge for him. A guy who provides offense for this team. 22 points versus Wofford a few games ago. Rewarded a starting position. I think a little bit overwhelmed with that honor. Better coming off the bench, providing that offensive spark.
Mitchell had it slapped away by Delorier. Well, you see Joey Baker play on the perimeter a lot, but this is a nice take.
Yeah, he's part of that sophomore class. Zion, RJ, Trey. Let's not forget about Joey and what he brings to this team. An offensive spark off the bench.
Little fall away. Missed by Jared Hamilton. Here's Baker now. This is more customary. 3 off the iron. Trey Jones will try and hit.
Can't do it. Can't do it, Wes. Cannot give this offense opportunities like this. It's got to be a one-possession performance. You got to get the rebound if you're the Eagles and go. You give Duke another chance. Forget about it.
16-point advantage, just ahead of 5 minutes to go first half. Thornton almost stepped out of bounds. Felder did turn it over.
Second chance was going to be a story with how Duke gets after the backboard. Look at the fight here. Matthew Hurt, 6'9", grabs a rebound. Trey Jones, the do-it-all guy, checks every box. Second chance, it makes you pay.
9 turnovers in the first half for the Eagles. There's Baker, a little off-balance spin. And Vernon Carey kept it alive for more. All the way to the basket. Mitchell got a block. And Baker tried to make the save. It'll belong to Boston College. Stephon Mitchell, the young man, Shakopee, Minnesota, has 3 double-doubles already this year. He only averages 7 points, almost 9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 2.5 steals. And without Nick Popovich, and really when things like Derek Thornton having an off night, what have you, Stephon Mitchell has to be a utility guy for Jim Christian's team to have success.
And he's got to be one of your tough guys in the trenches, and he's 6'8", going against the size and athleticism of this Duke front line. It's almost unfair. Let's not forget Boston College devoid of Winston Tabb as well.
Yep.
Another viable option and high-level performer out with injury. So it's almost what could have been for Coach Christian's squad, but he understands in this conference nobody's going to feel sorry for him.
Nope. Second basket for Thornton leads to a Duke possession, and Hurt the missed 3.
It's just a piece of the game that Duke can get that going consistently. The world can be theirs in the college game. If they can knock down those shots, good luck.
And O'Connell will leave it for goal wire. Under 4 to go now, first half. Here's Carey. Boy, what good hands the big guy has. It's the thing that has been #1, Jordan, about Duke bigs here in the last 5 or 6 years. The great hands that Okafor, Bagley, and now Vernon Carey have.
Not all necessarily high flyers that live life above the rim. So understand, having those great hands, the ability to see, make passes out to your perimeter guys, highly skilled bigs, something that Coach K loves here in this Duke program and had great success with.
Moore trying to use the Hurt screen. Boy, they've got to skip into the corner too.
Moore running the point guard has been an interesting facet in these last few sequences for the Blue Devils.
5 to shoot, quick pass, Carey. Can't finish, Hurt cleans it up, and another second chance opportunity for Duke. Hurt's got 9 to lead the Blue Devils.
You don't think Duke was salivating when they said, oh, the rebounding margin for the Eagles is in the negatives, -4?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have a time in the trenches today, and it's shown.
Runner by Jared Hamilton and a foul. That'll get us to a timeout. 2:49 to go first half. 16-point lead for #2 Duke. Don't forget, Sunday on ACC Network, we'll take you to Derby City. Women's basketball presented by Food Lion. Duke and #7 Louisville at 2 o'clock. You'll get to see Dana Evans, second in the league in scoring, and the top 3-point shooter at almost 46%. And then Haley Gorecki of Joanne P. McCally's Blue Devils, averaging 17.5 points a game. Comes up 2 o'clock on Sunday. Jim Christian's got a golf shirt on here and things of that nature, and you see in his 6th season, he's in a golf shirt because he goes in to have an ankle procedure done a couple weeks ago, and the man ends up in a boot. Jordan Cornette.
I mean, microfracture surgery is the equivalent of basically what we're dealing with here with Coach. I said, Coach, you didn't think maybe after surgery you don't go to Cal for that 6-hour flight and go coach your team? I said, Jordan, I never thought about it.
Grew up in Bethpage, New York. Finished at Rhode Island. Off the Ralph Willard, Rick Pitino tree of coaches is Jim Christian. 54 years of age. Jared Hamilton, by the way, who's averaged 15 points in their last couple of ball games, knocks down the free throw.
Asked Coach Christian about his time as an assistant with Kent State back in 01-02. That team with Antonio Gates that went to the Elite Eight. He said Antonio Gates was one of the best basketball players he ever coached.
Yeah.
He said he was a walking bucket. Antonio Gates of San Diego, now LA Chargers fame, future Hall of Famer, said a couple inches taller. That guy has a 12-year NBA career. He was that kind of player.
Well, maybe he'll invite Jim to when they give him the gold jacket.
There you go. There you go.
Because I think he'll get one at some point.
That's a safe bet.
Wendell Moore, hard drive across the lane, draws the foul.
Meanwhile, Coach Christian, he just wants 2 good feet right now.
Yeah, no question.
He'll take that.
Foul is going to be on Vernon Carey. It'll be his second, number 6 on Duke, here with 2.5 to go. Or I beg your pardon, it's on Hamilton. I said Carey. It's obviously on Jarris Hamilton. And the foul shot by Wendell Moore is good. Quick reminder that every Sunday night, Nothing But Net right here on ACC Network. Kelsey Riggs will be there this week with Carlos Boozer, Luke Hancock, Dallin Cuff. They'll break down the week, preview the week ahead, as only they can do, Sunday nights at 6, right here on ACC Network. 6 first-half points for Wendell Moore.
You got to find a way to get your guy here involved. Derek Thornton needs to find a way to get a basket to give his team some confidence. A lot of standing around. You need some screens, some movement. Here comes the high ball screen. Got a favorable matchup.
Mitchell, kick out for Felder. Tried to cross up Delorier, and another turnover for Boston College. And that is 10 of them for the Eagles here in the opening frame.
And some of these turnovers aren't even because of the pressure from Duke. These are self-inflicted wounds. I mean, that's just a lackadaisical crossover where you're not disciplined with the rock, and you're giving it away. They're not taking it away. These are giveaways. Now, thankfully, there have been few that are live ball turnovers that end up costing them on the other end, but yet still, you're not giving your offense an opportunity.
So we go inside of 2 minutes here in this first half. And Duke has doubled Boston College. Moore tried to get it to Carey at the block. Look at Baker. Here's the kick for Hurt and the 3. A dozen for Matthew Hurt in the first half, including 2 triples.
Love the cerebral play of Joey Baker to open that up. Hurt will get the 3-point shot, but I'm more fascinated by the assist. Couple probing dribbles into the paint. Defense collapses. Kick out for a pristine look for Hurt.
Blocked off the window by Carey. Moore starts the break. Baker.
Yeah, you got to swing it. It's a ball stop.
They want to reward the big fella, and they do. He blasted it off the glass and ends up finishing at the other end.
Here's a taste of who this young man is. Better 2 blocks per game, elite athleticism and timing. The intersection of both gives them possession going the other way. Feed the big man, be gluttonous with it against a lesser interior of Boston College, and he makes you pay. This is a special talent here at Cameron Indoor.
Chance for 6 points for Vernon Carey here in the first half. And the free throw rims out, and Moore went over the back of Mitchell to commit the foul. And that is 7 on Duke. And we'll get 1 and 1 at the other end with 70 seconds to go here in this first half. Vernon Carey will take a break. Delorier has come back for Coach Krzyzewski. And Stephon Mitchell who for all the good things he does for Jim Christian's club is just a 57% free throw shooter.
And I talked about how they don't really have these Eagles, a guy to go down on a low block to and make plays. But Mitchell's a gifted passer. And while he might not be a dominant scorer on that low block because he can't convert, you may be able to play through him as a facilitator in a half-court setting.
One thing would help BC to be a better free throw shooting team here early in the ACC campaign. They're 68% from the line, and boy, Hurt is feeling it. He's got 15 in the first half.
And I thought you were a good point guard here in the booth. That guy's got you beat, man. Trey Jones puts guys in position to succeed.
Hamilton. And slapped around, Jones with it.
Uh-oh, watch out, Wendell wants it.
Hurt the catch and score. 17 now for Hurt. He's outscored Boston College now. Quite a first half for the freshman. Felder the three. 5th three of the year for C.J. Felder.
Finally got one. Finally got one to fall from distance in the first stanza.
Timeout taken here. Well, Hurt's already got 17 here in the first half. Been averaging 12.5 over the last 6, Jordan.
He's a next level guy. I mean, he's got a lot of people at the next level intrigued because at 6'9", he's a sharpshooter. He's a matchup nightmare because he can take a little guy down. We call that mouse in the house, make him pay on the low block. And then he's able to operate at that mid-post area, the elbow. Get out to the backboard, too. You got to love it. That frame will fill out. He'll get more muscle on it, but he finds spots, makes himself a receiver, and the conversion rate has been impressive this evening.
A season high 20 against Pat Kelsey and the Winthrop Eagles. He had 19 against Central Arkansas. He's got 17 here in the first half tonight. And the interesting thing is that he's labeled like a stretch 4. It may be, but at the same time, he brings a lot of tools to the table here.
I've been most impressed by how rugged a player he is. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty and play in those muddy waters for rebounding and other things.
And how about one more going to the locker room? Mark him up. He's got 20. He's already tied his season high in the opening frame, and he's outscored Boston College.
Feels a lot like we're watching Mike Dunleavy out here on the floor. Got a little bit of that feel. A guy with size. Stretch 4s are in vogue in 2019. They'll be in vogue in 2020. Matthew Hurt. Hurt's so good.
5th assist for Jones. Duke's lead is an impressive 26 here at halftime.
Offense flowing, feeling the rhythm, 45 points in that first half. And you want to know why? Trey Jones is back in the building for Duke, and he is welcomed back with open arms.
Blue Devils in control. Stay tuned. ACC Network. Halftime report coming up. We'll look at the 2 other ball games played in the league today on this New Year's Eve night from Cameron Indoor. ACC Network basketball presented tonight by Geico. And with Jordan Cornette, West Durham, we welcome you back. Second half from Cameron Indoor Stadium coming up. Number 2 Duke in control, 45-19. Well, we close. Have you heard we close out a decade tonight?
I have heard that.
Yeah, tomorrow's 2020. And there's been a lot of talk about decades, and Duke certainly has rights to brag. 3 of the top 10 picks a year ago in the NBA draft. I mean, that was just last year.
Just last year.
2010, Coach K, 844 wins. He has 1,143 total wins, including the 5 campaigns at the United States Military Academy. Their national championships, 2010, 2015. And a win tonight would be the 300th win of the decade.
It's incredible.
And my math tells me that's 30 a year.
Pat is incredible. And you wonder how that happens. Well, I sit here to shoot around. I watch Coach talk to his players, that being Coach K,
right,
and I watch how they respond and digest everything that's coming out of their coach's mouth. That ability to connect to your players, then it translates through high-level execution on the floor. Then you start to realize, oh, I can connect the dots. This is why they win.
Yeah.
It's a buy-in, and it's a culture of winning, and you feel that excellence when you walk in here.
By the
No
way,
doubt about it.
we talk about Duke. They're on the road their next 2 ACC games. Saturday at Miami, middle of the next week. Next Wednesday night, by the way, at Georgia Tech to see Josh Pastner's team before welcoming Wake Forest here next weekend. And for Boston College, remember they've been at home to Wake Forest and at Notre Dame. They draw Duke here tonight. They get Virginia and Georgia Tech next week at home in Chestnut Hill.
And if you want to gift Virginia a win, you go right ahead. But in this conference, I'm telling you, on any given night, anybody can go down. We got 20 games of this slate. You're going to see a lot of head scratchers because teams don't have their identity and they aren't quite who they're going to be come late February. It's just not where we are right now in the college basketball landscape.
Yeah, nationally, I think you're exactly right. I still think they're good teams, but there's no dominant team.
Nope.
As we open this 19-20 campaign. BC the ball to start the half. Here's Hamilton now. He's backing down with 3 fouls and off the window for his second field goal. Jarius Hamilton, the 6'8" sophomore from Charlotte, the older brother Jared Hamilton, will come off the bench here in this second half. Hurt trying to pick up where he left off at the half. Can't knock down the 3. Here's O'Connell and the missed dunk. Stanley the rebound and fouled on the way up. Quick entry here at the block to Hamilton to get BC started.
And I like this. Jarius Hamilton has had success, most especially in his last 5 games, averaging nearly 12 points per game in that span. BC 4-1. Now, what's inexplicable is after this miss, that ball hits the ground. There are 3 BC rebounders right there, and somehow Cassius Stanley corrals it, gains it, and then draws a foul. Those are effort plays.
Yep.
I don't care if you're not hitting shots. That right there, when you look back at film, inexcusable.
By the way, the Blue Devils with 8 offensive rebounds, 4 now for Stanley as he knocks down both free throws. The freshman from Los Angeles. And the lead right back to 26 for the home team. Here's Thornton on the drive.
Stanley with him all the while, giving up no advantage.
Here's Mitchell. And a nice feed. Felder tried to scoop it. Carey deflected it.
I think Mitchell should have just offered that one up to the rim. At that jump stop, you're right there in a good spot. Go ahead and take a shot.
Carey with the left hand where he wants it.
Eagles did a good job of getting pushed off the block there a little bit. Just a tad further than his comfort zone.
That got wiped out by the big fella.
And the guy checking IDs at the door. He ain't letting anybody in.
3 blocks now for Vernon Carey Jr.
It's from his daddy, that athleticism. Doesn't he, Wes?
His dad was a talented football player at the University of Miami. Several years in the National Football League. Vernon Carey Sr. Driving the basket for Heath. He's got 6 in the ball game. And we're talking about the bench, right? Duke playing, 10 guys comfortably?
Yep.
That ball got knocked away. Jones
I love that
fighting with Jared Hamilton. And a turnover on Boston College. You look at guys in priority. Certainly we saw Delorier for a handful of minutes. Baker, I thought, off the bench was very good in the first half. You see the minutes that Goldwire and the energy above everything else that I think Goldwire gives you for Coach K.
And what he gave you when Trey Jones was out for those 2 games.
Right.
Played admirably managing this team and keeping the boat afloat. Where are you going to find the 10 and dwindle it down to 8? I just don't know who that unlucky 9 and 10 are going to be. They haven't showed their face quite yet.
It's not as comfortable, maybe a reduction as it's been in the past.
No, it's not. And you can look at that and say, is that a bad thing with the state of where they are right now? I laugh in your face and say I think it's a great thing that Duke has the balance that they do, and they can overwhelm you with wholesale line changes and guys that bring a boost every time they check in and their numbers called.
You still think Florida State's the deeper team, though, in terms of bodies?
Well, they do it differently. Leonard Hamilton plays 10 because those guys that are starting, they were begging to get some time on the bench because of the style. With Duke, it's the skill set. There's so many talented players. They throw you out there. These are blue chippers with Duke. Florida State and Coach Hamilton will be the first one to say, we don't have the top 10 players. We have 10 darn good players that are going to wear you down with our style and our system.
Yeah, I used to joke around that Leonard Hamilton would put a penalty kill and a power play lineup out there. I mean, Florida State had a lineup. If they needed to stop, they could go get a lineup that would get you a penalty kill.
You talk about the 10-year challenge. Take a look at Leonard Hamilton, Coach Leonard Hamilton, a picture of him in 2010 and one in 2020.
My man Mark Packer says he's got all sorts of good problems.
I like that.
Mitchell out of the corner and hurt the rebound. And we're almost 3 minutes in, and BC hadn't been able to cut into the deficit. And there's Vernon Carey for his third field goal.
No, Wes. There's Trey Jones. There's Trey Jones. How about that delivery? I think that's his 7th assist, and he doesn't have a turnover to his name this evening. Trey Jones coming back to lineup. Watch him work. Watch him work.
Here's Jones and O'Connell.
Watch him work. Watch him work. Ladies and gentlemen, your sophomore point guard that makes the whole thing go. Put your hands together for Mr. Trey Jones.
The lead is 30 when we come back.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing, Wes. The straw that stirs the drink on New Year's Eve is Trey Jones for Duke. Missed 2 games, he's back in the building. This offense is humming. Vernon Carey, the recipient right there. Great outlet from Carey. Trey Jones driving the vehicle. Alex O'Connell in overdrive.
And with the lead at 30, the Blue Devils offer a little pressure on the inbounds in the backcourt. Now the freshman from Washington, Jay Heath, into the forecourt with Mitchell and Julian Rishwain out of California, wearing number 2's come back on the floor for Boston College here in the second half to join Jarius Hamilton and Jared Hamilton. 6 to shoot, and Heath trying to find a clean look. And O'Connell gets the deflection.
Trey Jones really worked defensively right there, too, to keep him in front.
And draws the foul as he cut through the lane.
Pretty heady play there to try and turn that into, but now it's going to be a, he tried to work it to a shooting foul, didn't he?
Third foul on Heath. Here's the thing about Trey Jones that gets lost in this conversation. Yes, the assist numbers, and tonight at the offensive end, he's still one of the nation's best on-ball defenders,
yeah,
by the way.
That gets lost in the sauce because of everything else he's been asked to do.
I think the other thing, too, was the clarity he had that immediately after last season ended, he was willing to go ahead and say, I'm coming back.
I'll tell you what.
Stanley on the drive draws the foul. We'll take a break. Just past 4 minutes into the second half. .53-23 on New Year's Eve night. Trey Jones, sophomore from Apple Valley, Minnesota, has been fantastic here tonight, especially in the distribution category.
Wes, I'm going to tell you, I thought long and hard about this one. I'm curious if you're going to back me on it. Trey Jones is the most important player to his team of anybody in the ACC. He is the most important. So I guess that kind of goes in hand with most valuable. Because that's what he means. This team looks entirely different as it goes silent in here while I sing the praises of the young man in Trey Jones. But what he brings this team is everything on both sides of the ball.
No question. Well, we've already talked about how good a defender he is in here tonight. He's been incredible, especially when you look at he's missed the last couple games. You talked about maybe showed a little rust early in his shots. And now here he is clearly been critical in this success, not only in the assist numbers, and there's another turnover by BC on the Mitchell giveaway.
Go back and watch that Michigan State game, everybody out there. 20 points, 12 assists, even got on the backboard a little bit in that one. Set the tone. Vernon obviously played well too, but
what a good-looking pass by Carey back to Stanley.
I'd like to see him give it up there.
And Carey will clean it up around the rack. He's got 9 now on his 4th field goal. deep three. Jarius Hamilton had it rim out. Mitchell the rebound. He skips it for Jared Hamilton, the older of the two brothers. 12th three of the year for Jared Hamilton out of Charlotte. Hurt knocks down a three, just to remind you. It's 5 of them in the ball game now for Matthew Hurt.
Jarius Hamilton had a hand in the face, but he wasn't up close enough not to deter the delivery. Matthew Hurt.
That ball got knocked away last touched by O'Connell. By the way, Hurt a season high with his 5th three here a moment ago.
Sense of urgency from Jarius Hamilton. I mean, he's got the hand, but you got to be hugged up. You got to run a guy like Matthew Hurt off the three-point line with how he's shooting it this evening. You got to up the ante with that sense of urgency.
Change over for the Blue Devils now. Moore along with Goldwire, who gets the deflection and the takeaway. Jack White's come on the floor and has Joey Baker for the Blue Devils. Julian Rishwain and C.J. Felder along with Derek Thornton have returned for Boston College as well. Moore looking for help. Baker back for Delorier through traffic, had it stripped out of there. I like Baker's aggressiveness off the bounce, Jordan.
I agree.
Rishwain misses the three. Felder one dribble and the stick back. 9 for Felder.
I agree. Baker has been, and they're disciplined. They're patient in nature. With he kind of feels out a path, and then when that opportunity opens up, he goes after it. It's not necessarily a scoring play. He'll make that pass. I like that.
Lead has grown to 31. It's the largest of the night for Duke. And that ball got deflected, and here is Hamilton. Skips it for Felder. Almost traveled, got it. Rishwain wide open for 3. His reputation coming from Sherman Oaks, California was that of a three-point shooter, and Julian Rishwain's got his first basket of the night.
He was big in that Cal win, especially in the second half.
Yep.
Double figures to get him to 12, 10 of those coming in the second half.
Almost 7 minutes gone and a timeout taken by Mike Krzyzewski as Duke gets it in the forecourt. And the lead is 28 for the number 2 team in the country. That will be in Coral Gables on Saturday against Miami. Meanwhile, our ACC network coverage on Saturday will be from just down 15, 5:01 apiece in Chapel Hill. Mike Monaco and Jordan Cornette will be at Smith Center to see if Roy Williams can surpass his mentor Dean Smith with career win number 880 against Georgia Tech, who now has Jose Alvarado back in the lineup. Jordan Usher, the Southern Cal transfer, is eligible. James Banks inside, and you see, of course, on Saturday the storyline will also be that guy from Spruce Pine, North Carolina, playing for win number 880 to pass Dean Smith.
What was your most favorite win in the ones that you've seen, or most enjoyable that you saw with Roy Williams in those slew of wins? I mean, you're a walking encyclopedia.
I would tell
Kansas, North Carolina.
I'd say
this. Just tell me what you were most impressed by.
I think for Roy Williams, although he was an unbelievable coach before it happened, I think when he won the 2005 national title and beat Illinois for the national title in San Antonio. Not in San Antonio, it was in St. Louis.
Sean May, Rashawn McCants.
Yep.
Raymond Felton.
Yep. I think that was because he had come back and in year 2 took Carolina to the national title.
He'd be so mad at you if you were talking about all these wins.
Yes, he would.
He wants to defer this whole thing.
Why
is that? Why did he react like that?
Because it's about the players, and that's what he said last night in the postgame. Carolina basketball is about the players. I think that a lot of programs, and Dean Smith is the one that put that out there.
I mean, he ran off the court. He tried to run off the court.
Tried to. Ball got deflected away from Baker. Here's BC with the turnover out of the Duke timeout. And Javin Delorier erases Jarius Hamilton's drive.
And for Delorier to remain in that robust rotation of 10, effort plays like this. Be a star in your role. Delorier, look, he gave you 10 points in the Michigan State game, but that's not who he is. Shot blocker, effort guy, high motor, rebounder. be a star in that role, and Coach K will carve out minutes for you to stay in the rotation.
Rishwain working against Baker. Here's Felder for Mitchell. Back out front, C.J. Felder sets. And Baker the rebound. Thornton took a big fall. Goal wire all the way to the basket on the hard dribble. Here's Thornton at the other end, cleared the ball boy and lays it in.
Yeah, the last line of defense
was a guy swabbing the deck.
Young man with the towel.
Hey, what? We almost had a block charge call on the student manager who's cleaning up the floor. Duke by 26 with 8 minutes gone second half. Tough shot, Delorier. That ball got blocked again. Boy, Duke's been very active around the rim tonight. Rishwain tees another one up. And Jack White the rebound.
Jack White got tied up with Mitchell there. I think BC wanted a foul called.
Joey Baker has 7 now on his first 3 of the game.
And that's where Duke becomes that much more dynamic. When you can put on your wings Baker and Hurt's ability to knock down threes with the other 3 guys on the floor, that is a tough out.
Foul on goal wire, his first. Blue Devils in control. Well, Derek Thornton started his career here in Durham as a freshman guard for Mike Krzyzewski, and a bit of a homecoming tonight after a couple of years at Southern Cal, now a grad year at Boston College, and it starts after an opening basket with a sprained ankle. Didn't look like he would be able to come back after the initial look, but he has come back, but it's been tough since, Jordan.
Yeah, and I don't know how much the ankle has hampered him as much as just the supporting cast inability to make shots and alleviate some of the defensive pressure that's been put on him to provide for this team. They just don't have enough firepower. And would this story have been an incredible one for him to come back here and upend Duke? Absolutely, but Duke knew that they need to key in on him, take away what he does, and put pressure on these other guys who just aren't go-to consistent scorers. It's been a long evening.
O'Connell knocks down a 3. 8 now for O'Connell, his second triple of the night. Young man from Roswell, Georgia, now in his junior campaign here for Coach K. Felder, full toolkit of moves to the rim, can't finish it. Mitchell kick out for Thornton. And here's O'Connell, but Duke doesn't have numbers. Hurd out front, working with Stanley on the drive. And the tap follow for Stanley is good. 9 for Stanley. The notice Thornton brings at front court is, though, Jordan, he's a guy that leads them in scoring, leads them in assists, and is going to be a viable piece and an important piece for Jim Christian as this league schedule unfolds.
Yeah, and understand that this is a Boston College team. They've beaten Wake, they've beaten Notre Dame. They have 2 wins in the conference out of the gate. And look, they're running into a buzzsaw here against the Duke team, but this is a team that has some things to feel good about in a conference where so much unknown. With the play of Derek Thornton giving you 14 points per game, that coach on the sidelines and Jim Christian, who is as good as any, this is a team that's going to steal some things in conference.
Yep.
And let's not forget, no Winston Tabb, Kai Bowman gone to the league, and Popovich out with injury as well. This would have been a much more impressive matchup had those stars aligned.
2-point shot for Hamilton is short. You mentioned the Tabb situation. That's one that kind of got glossed over in the fall, that Winston Tabb was not going to come back. Remember, he was limited a year ago with the knee injury, elected to redshirt this entire campaign. And then the Nick Popovich situation is one that there's no timetable set for his return.
I mean, that's a guy that is a consistent double-figure scorer. And oh, by the way, he's 6'11" versus this Duke front line. That changes everything dramatically.
Yep.
I mean, you talk about injury. Coach Christian is injured.
Right. Yeah.
It's a beat-up program right now.
Another rejection, and here's Stanley. Draws the contact from Rishwain. And leading by 32 free throws coming up on the foul against the freshman Julian Rishwain. Look at Vernon Carey.
Eraser.
Yep.
I mean, athleticism, yes. Of course, the leaping ability plays, but he has impeccable timing.
Yep. Chris Herron Jr. taking the floor for the first time tonight. Sophomore from Portsmouth, Rhode Island, wearing number 24 for Boston College. There is Hurt out of the corner. Delorier flags it down. Jones, leaner. And last touched by the Blue Devils.
Delorier got the memo. There's an advantage on the backboard. Stay active, stay aggressive. And again, being a star in your role. It's never going to be the headliner for this Duke team, but he can give them a piece that is absolutely needed as that rebounder, rim protector, energy guy.
Yep. About 8 minutes to go down the ball game. Duke, who led at the break by 26, has a 32-point advantage. Here's Herron. Mitchell, soft fall away. Well, without Popovich on the floor, and BC's been able to win 4 straight coming in, Jordan, they're going to have to rebound the ball a lot better when ACC play starts.
Yeah, and they're going to look, it sounds like lazy analysis when you say they got to make shots, but you do have to be some sort of threat, make them respect you from the three-point line, to then attack closeouts, to then open your offense up, make you a little bit more dynamic.
Yep.
BC can't get anything going from distance, and there is a credit to Duke's D.
Hurt, a wild 3, and that'll be a shot clock violation. Gets us to a timeout. Just ahead of 7 to play tonight in Durham. 69-37, number 2 Duke in front. ACC Network basketball presented tonight by Geico from Cameron Indoor Stadium. All right, Jordan, here's a look at the top 9 in the ACC standings, right? There's the records, conference marks. Everything's up to date, by the way. We're going to show you the net rankings now. NCAA evaluation tool. Duke's number 8.
Look at the 4th ranked team in terms of net right there.
NC State.
46. Oh, how about Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech, yeah. Oh,
I lied to you. I mean 5th ranked on there. Virginia Tech. How about the job that's been going on down there, Coach Young, and getting that squad ready to play? And I said it earlier this week. I stand by it. I think Virginia Tech's going to dance this year. I really do. The ability to shoot the basketball, teams with an identity that know who they are and know how they have to win games and can execute it at a reasonably consistent clip. I like Virginia Tech in March. I like them to get there. I like them to get into the tournament.
4-time ACC Freshman of the Week in Landers Nolley. 4 times already.
Guy's a first-team all-conference guy. That was a huge start to what this team could be, keeping him there. Coach Young's ability to keep him on campus there in Blacksburg and play for this team gave them a go-to guy. In a world where offense has been so defunct across the college basketball landscape, this team has a go-to guy, they have an identity, and they can shoot the basketball. And that's another reason why I like NC State as well. Yeah. Teams that can score in the 80s and teams that can make shots consistently.
Yeah, NC State's a very, very interesting team to keep an eye on. Here is Moore working back out for Baker's 3.
And you've given us a mandate to talk more about Coach Larranaga's squad.
Kraljevic gave up the rebound for Delorier, who gets his first basket. Yeah, and I think Miami's win today is one that can propel them. Kraljevic, Luka, the junior from Domzeil in Slovenia, with just his 3rd field goal of the year.
6'11", I thought maybe we'd see some of him simply because of the size that would be needed on the front line. Just out of desperation to go to a guy who's got some things he needs to work on. A junior, he's not the biggest or the most skilled, but he presents a challenge of size.
Delorier bumped and continued on for his 2nd field goal. And we'll get a whistle and a foul, and that will be on goal wire. 2nd on goal wire. Don't forget, ACC women's basketball coming up on Sunday. We'll take you to the KFC Yum Center for ACC Network women's basketball presented by Food Line Duke and number 7 Louisville at 2 o'clock. Down by the river. Jeff Wall's got another outstanding team for the Cards. Kraljevic, Heron went the wrong way. Turned over by Boston College on an unforced error. I think Miami-Duke on Saturday at Coral Gables at the Watsco Center. Trey Jones and Chris Likes would be worth the ticket.
That'll be fun.
That'd be worth the ticket.
That's going to be a heck of a challenge for Trey Jones defensively. To get down to the low center of gravity that Likes plays with at 5'7", that's a tough defensive assignment.
Baker the miss on the 3. Delorier skips for Jack White. And he misses on the triple. Heron the rebound. White's shooting struggles documented a year ago, but gotten off to a pretty good start, averaging 4 points, 4 rebounds, doing a lot of the dirty work for Coach K. Here's Moore. We go inside of 5 minutes and a 33-point lead for the Blue Devils. Little reroute on the dribble by Moore. And Hamilton pulls it away. Jarius on the feed from Jared. Couldn't finish the layup. Jack White. Good look. Skip for the 3. Largest lead of the night for the Blue Devils on the first 3 for Wendell Moore Jr. 36 the difference at Cameron. 4:27 to go on New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, we welcome you to ACC Network Basketball, presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. With Jordan Cornett, Wes Durham, our producer tonight, Alex Farmartino, our director, Michael Sullivan, our great crew. We welcome you to Cameron Indoor Stadium. We wish you a happy and safe 2020 here in about 4 hours and change on the East Coast. Fun to be with you tonight, big man.
It is very fun, man. I've been looking forward to when I got on with this ACC network. I said, I don't have much pull, but I said I got to do a game with West Durham. if I'm gonna do basketball in this conference,
you scaled down tonight. You've done well.
I mean, scaled down my hiney.
Chris Heron on the floor, Stephon Mitchell, Jay Heath, C.J. Felder with the rock, and we get our first look tonight at Kamari Williams. The legacy program Jim Christian's got. Felder the rebound of the deflection and the layup. Jim Christian has both guys on the floor who are the sons of former college and NBA stars. As we go under 4 minutes now that Williams has joined Heron in the BC order. In the corner, Wendell Moore slides through in the layup. 11 for Wendell Moore. He's been double figures in 3 of the last 4. Started back before the holiday break. I kind of like what he brings to the table.
He's another guy when we talk about that 10-man rotation. Coach K is going to sit there and go, I want to get it to 8. I don't know how I can get it to 8.
Mitchell going to draw the foul from Baker. Pretty ugly collision. Mitchell and Baker both slow to the feet. Second on Joey Baker, 5 on Duke by my count here in the second half.
You got Mitchell with the path.
Ooh, caught him with the elbow in the head. Ooh. Joey Baker checked nickels and dimes. Mitchell took an ugly fall as a result too.
Both are up.
And a little referee's discretion here from Lee Cassell. Going to let everybody catch their breath before free throws for Stephen Mitchell, who was 0 for 2 at the line. And Justin Robinson appears in his 3rd straight ball game now for Coach K. Second shot from Mitchell is his first point of the night. Guy averaging 7 points, 9 rebounds. Scratches for the first time. 35-point difference. More. Here's Baker. Jack White a three. Yep. 7th triple of the year for White.
It's big for a guy who's battled that three-point look for the last 2 seasons. Anytime he can see that ball go in, builds himself a little bit more confidence, a glue guy that brings toughness and an edge. I like to see him make some shots.
Heath misses the layup. Mitchell fouled on the offensive rebound, and boy, ball distribution's been a big key tonight too.
Yeah, it gives you leadership, deflections, rebounder, plays hard. Baker, again, you talk about those drives from Baker, gets his feet in the paint, collapses the D, unselfishly kicks it out. Jack White gets to go from the wing.
And the free throws for Mitchell after the foul inside. Another 2-shot chance from Mitchell. Duke has handed out 19 assists tonight. Trey Jones owns 10 of them.
How many turnovers for Trey Jones? 1 turnover.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Are you kidding me? Him coming back makes this Duke team who they are, who they can be, who I think they will be this year, and who they've been tonight.
Goal wire. Baker.
There he is with another drive.
Justin Robinson. His first basket of the year, a deep three. And a drive and foul on the Blue Devils will put Heath to the line. Good to see the son of the Admiral.
I just don't know where he got the ability or the skill set. Is it in his family somewhere? Trey Jones looks on, the son of David Robinson, the Admiral. And there he is. Looking like he's still got minutes, doesn't he? The Admirable. The Admiral.
Yep.
The Admirable Admiral.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on.
What a great player David Robinson was. Jay Heath, a couple of free throws. Missed the first. I'll tell you that Heath signing by Jim Christian and his assistant Scott Spinelli, who's done a marvelous job in the Washington area, continues a pattern of just getting guys to the Boston College campus from that DMV area. And Heath is a talented player, twice the Metro DC player. 14 points, 6 rebounds. He was fast-tracked to playing with the Tabs injury you spoke of earlier.
His first game versus Wake, that conference game, because of how the season started, 18 points out of the gate in that debut, and that speaks to the confidence he has. And yes, thrust in a position and being asked a lot of, but is going to be very important to this program.
First points for Goldwire as we go inside of 2 minutes. Here's Kamari Williams. Back out for Felder. Kraljevich's return for, here's Williams, a catch and shoot three. And he'll get the long rebound for the Eagles. With 95 seconds to play. There's Felder, very comfortable shot just above the foul line. 13 for Felder. So BC will get Virginia at home next Tuesday night. Robinson, another one. Oh. Cavaliers, by the way, host Virginia Tech on Saturday afternoon at John Paul Jones Arena with a 2-0 league mark. Yes, it will.
Be fun with the defense of Virginia, the ability and shot-making ability of Virginia Tech.
I'll tell you this, too, the Hokie bench with Cone and Wilkins and guys like that helping Mike Young's team.
Yeah.
That's another interesting situation in the arsenal for the first-year coach.
And it's the best part of the year. We're in a conference play now, so all the projections, all the talk on Packer and Durham, me up there in Bristol talking on set, we now get to see this thing play out, who these teams are going to be, how they're going to match up.
Final minute to go tonight at Cameron. Stolen by Heath. He's got Baker to beat to the rack, and he does with the layup. 8 tonight for Heath on his 4th field goal. Duke is going to get to 12-1. They'll be 2-0 in the ACC. Boston College going to be 8-6, 2-1 in league play. Goldwire gets to the iron. 41-point lead with 13 seconds left. Duke getting ready to win for the 13th time in the last 14 games against BC and take a 22-3 lead in the series. And tonight they win by 39. Number 2 flexed its muscle tonight, Jordan.
Yeah, we talked about Duke coming out with an edge, playing with an intensity. They look sharp out of the gates. They played with great energy, great communication, something Coach K harped upon his bunch. And Matthew Hurt showed his ability as a go-to scorer, a creator, a shot maker, providing the ability beyond the arc, something this Duke team needs. Exploited matchups down low that were favorable and converted. And again, I like his ability to put it on the deck, finishing with the offhand, playing through contact there. The rugged nature at times was something I was very impressed with. Getting on the backboard, providing a spark for a Duke team that looked dangerous all night long.
Yeah, they did. Matthew Hurt, a season high 25 tonight for the Blue Devils, who shoot 51.5% from the floor. For Jordan Cornette, our great crew, West Durham, Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.